Okay, so on this day, students are going to describe how to break up a number into parts in writing. You've already talked about how to break up a number into parts, and there's actually already been writing. Now you're just going to explicitly practice that, which is kind of huge, right? I mean, honestly, it's the 7th day of school, and you're already working on this as an objective. That's really awesome, and that's a step above, right? First, they have to understand the concept, then they put it into words out loud, and then they put it into words in writing. This is pretty nice. Hashtag thinking climate, right? All right. So they're going to start with a really simple task. And what I would just say is that as you launch this task, right, really make your goal explicit. Say, like, the goal today is to write down your thinking in words. And that's what I want you to try to do. I want you to pretend you're Melanie and that you're explaining how you broke 13 up into parts. You can offer them a hint. Like, you could say, don't just think about what happens when you break it into parts, also think about what happens when you put it back together, right? And so letting them like work that through and then really sharing out. And I can imagine you actually putting some of these under the doc cam and reading. I could really imagine you doing some editing of each other's work, right? And then this is a thinking question you can have. What is similar about our friends' responses, right? And trying to see like what words you can glean out, right? Talking about the word value, talking about the fact that it's important that, talking about put together and take apart, all of that language, right? And then trying to do it with some other numbers, okay? Like trying to say that same explanation, doing some turn and talks, right? Where they really get to try doing this explaining again and again, letting them generate the numbers. Like, explain to me what happens when you decompose numbers. Give me an example. Now they really have to even go farther to take that initiative, okay? So that's like even higher up on the scale because now they're generalizing. They're not just using words to describe one example. They're kind of generating their own example to describe it, right? Is there one response that's especially strong? Why is that strong? Why is that convincing, right? Then you can do a final turn to talk. Like, now we've talked through our friends' answers. Try to explain it again in your very clearest words. Let's practice. You could even get out some whiteboards, writing some of this down, what we say, and then it's work time, right? The real thing about this, right, is that this is all that they're explaining. Like, they've got the ideas. They just need to practice the writing. And I guess I would just say to make sure that they use both the words break apart and put together, right? And have all the vocabulary that they need kind of at their disposal, written in a way that they could copy it. They can, when they're done doing their work time, actually read it to one another, read each other's. That's going to teach them not just the concept of math, right, but how to communicate that concept. That communication piece that we talked about is so key to conceptual understanding.